Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakat Dash. The double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who as well. Peace and salutations to the elect. All right, my name is Aina. The title of this video is Wisdom Warns. Right, and we're in the time of what? Prophecy being fulfilled. The last few prophecies, right? The last days, the end days, right? Esau's end, and we're at that point. And basically, prophecy is coming to pass. I'm going to Ezekiel 38 regarding Russia being the chief, prince regarding these nations. And we have now talks, happening around the world, regarding different things. You have talks going on with Ukraine and Russia. You have talks going on with Israel and whoever they're fighting right now. It could be Yemen, Houthis, Lebanon, the Gaza Strip, probably Syria. One of them. You're talking, and you have talks going on now with uh, Iran in America or Russia in America. Pretty soon you might have talks going on with Taiwan and China in America. Who knows, right? So they're trying to figure out through peace and safety, but this is prophecy been fulfilled. So here we are. This is Russia meets Iran foreign minister. I don't know if there's any value. All right, so I don't think there's a value, but there's your viewing of Putin meets with Iran's foreign minister, right, of Iran. So Russia and Iran are linked together. Now, so the warning has been going out. I did this breakdown before. We're going into it again because it's happening right before our eyes. This is Proverbs 1 and 20. It says, wisdom warns. That's the title of this video, right? Wisdom, and it's scriptures say in Isaiah 33 and 6, that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, to know what's going on, right? And all of us leading up to it, the more you got, the better you are. We're showing you step by step, prophecy being broken down. So Proverbs 1 and 20 says, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words saying, right? And a major place of concourse is what? The World Wide Web. People are seeking answers, and trying to figure out what's happening. And we, the prophets, the hopeful elect now in these times are using the tools given to us, like the internet, to proclaim the things happening and relate it back to the scriptures. Right? It says, wisdom crieth without, she uttered her voice in the streets, she cried in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Why is that? Because people are still talking about they're waiting for it to get better, or get back to normal after the 2019 event that happened, that took place. And pretty much it's been downhill for them, for America since then. A lot has happened. Of course, the 2019 event opened up, I guess, gates for them to do different things that they now have implemented. But at the same time, that shameful spewing began to start coming upon them because they were found out to have biolabs in Ukraine, right? And maybe that 2019 event happened or was made up over there, or maybe they were working on a weapon, right, to destroy all Russians. That was also talks, and it will make sense because what? Pursuant to prophecy, Russia will link up with these different individuals and destroy America. So they know this, and they could have tried to stop that. Nonetheless, it backfired, and now they have trouble on every side. Just like Job, the 18th chapter tells us. So it says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refuse. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. And how does the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai does that? Through his prophets, right? Through the men of the Lord, right? And we are here proclaiming, what needs to be said, and people, either hear or they don't hear. The scriptures say whether they hear or forbear, they shall know that prophet have been among them, roughly paraphrasing the scriptures. Let me grab that. Grab that. Ezekiel 2 and 5. You go over here. All right, this is Ezekiel 2, and I'll just start at verse 1. It says, the prophets call, at the subheading there, right? It says, the prophets call. Verse 1 says, and he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me and set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me even unto this very day. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus the Lord Yahweh. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. See? So the prophets are here telling you, what's happening. It says, because Proverbs 1:24, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no one regarded, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. So you don't want to hearken to the Israelites, to the prophets. Let me grab that. I believe it's Isaiah 30. This is Isaiah 30 and 11. I started verse 8. Isaiah 30 and 8, it says, Now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for a time to come forever and ever. Right? So we have the Bible now in these last days. We have woken up to who we are, the Israelites, right? And we're proclaiming the things that need to be done, right? And we're warning our people that they need to get in order or they'll be destroyed right along with the people that don't matter, right? The heathen, right? The Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathen. Right? The Most High has chosen us to be a special people unto himself, right? And basically, he's going to set us up in rulership, and the heathen will be underfoot, right? But Esau will be utterly destroyed, obliterated, Isaiah 30 and 8, it says, Now go, write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for a time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord Yahweh, which say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. So the truth is, Russia is linking up with America's allies. America's enemies and some of their allies also. And they're going to destroy America pretty soon. There's already talks about plans to Israel going over there to destroy, Iran. And even they had this Greater Israel plan. So it's a stupid thing what I'm about to go into, which is these talks. It's a stupid thing to consider negotiation talks when you already heard your enemy say that we want a Greater Israel and our main target next is Iran. No one's denuclearing. All right, it's not happening. Trump said that before. It's not happening. It'd be really stupid on Iran's part. Just like I said before, it's real stupid for the Palestinians to go back to Gaza with Israel just killing them. But what can you do? I guess. So I don't believe Iran will denuclear, because Esau Edom has made his own tongue fall upon himself, right? Basically, he has already put out what he wants to get done. So once again, it'd be a stupid thing for Iran to agree to these talks and just denuclear for Israel to come in there and attack them with no, So anyway, Isaiah 30 and 10, it says, which say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Verse 11, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. It says, wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant, right? And that's why the Lord cometh like a thief in the night. Right, you people, you not listening, right? You think, I don't know, you think it's a game, you think it's funny, what the case may be. You happy to listen, but you don't want to hearken, and actually do. So you're gonna be destroyed. It says Proverbs 1:25, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. It says, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, right? And that's all fear. The scriptures talk about the dogs of terror, and the beasts of the earth, to eat. Let me grab one of those because that's something that's gonna happen to our people along with Esau too. Grab this. Let me see Jeremiah 15. Jeremiah 15 and 1, the subtitle there thing says judgment must come, right? It says, Then said the Lord Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, Whether shall we go forth? Then, then thou shalt tell them, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as for the sword to the sword, and such as for the famine to the famine, and such as for captivity to captivity. So you're going to be destroyed in a lot of ways. And some of you women are going to be in captivity who knows, a sweaty ass Edomite or something, that ain't never fucked a bitch a day in his life. And now all of a sudden, all hell is breaking loose and he's raping you and your daughters, right? That's the captivity that's going to be for you. And even some of you men, because Esau, he'll fuck anything, an animal, you, your woman, your children. So that's the captivity that's coming in these last days, raping of individuals and then the killing of them. It says in verse 3, And I will point over them 4 kinds, said the Lord Yahweh, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Right? So the scriptures say measure the time diligently in itself. So me linking right now that Russia is joining up with Iran and things like that is leading to what? Jacob's trouble, the things that come before that also. We can see, damn, they almost getting ready to shoot the nukes at each other. How much more so closer are we to the MOTB, to Jacob's trouble blasting out? And just listening to these people, that's what we're doing. We're watching, we're listening to what they're saying, and then we're watching what's going on, and we look in the scripture and say, okay, so this might be the time. This might be it. And we're giving the warning so you can prepare your mind. So yeah, verse 3 again says, And I will point over them 4 kinds, said the Lord Yahweh, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. So not only you gonna get raped, and all type of shit, molested, whatever the case may be, the animals will come and destroy you. So that's the point. Verse Proverbs 1 and 20 and 26. And I will also grab Isaiah 19 real quick, because we're the prophets, men of the Lord are laughing too. Right? We're laughing at your calamity when it comes. We're laughing at our enemies too. Esau, Edom. This is Isaiah 19 and 17. It says, In the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord Yahweh of hosts, which he have determined against it. Right. So who is that? Judah now is the host elect, the Israelites, the prophets, right? And they're afraid because of the words that we're speaking against them. Right. And what we're speaking against them? Prophecy. Let me grab that. Where is that at? That is spirit of prophecy. I think is right, this is Revelation 19 and 10. It says, And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shah. It says, Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy, right? So we're prophesying against this devil Babylon the Great, and we're telling him that, Iran and Russia will be joined together, and we're laughing while we're doing it because it's their end. The scriptures say, it's a good thing to see the fall of your enemies. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 25. And 7. It says, There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. See, it's joyful to see the fall of your enemy, right? Esau Edom was happy as hell when he brought us down because of the hell that we gave him, right? During the Maccabean period, the Dark Ages, even hell, King Solomon, King David, Because the Lord, when we're with our power, right, and we're doing right, and the Lord's with us, we're destroying these devils, right? So they was happy as hell. Now we're gonna be happy to hell to have them back under our foot just because of the fact, So anyway, Proverbs 1:26, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear coming. Esau appears here, and Jacob's trouble is going to be soon upon these people that's calling it gay. Right? Proverbs 1:27, it says, when your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when discretion and anguish comes upon you. Yeah, some some of these people won't even make it to the MOTB because they gonna take it, It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Right? That what Amos 8:11. You're gonna try to seek. Where's those people that was talking about? I'm trying to think of one of those fake names that they gave Yahweh, but I can't really think of it. But where's those people? They're gonna try to say the name. Where's those people that was on the corners that told us about this information? And we ain't gonna be there. I'm gonna be somewhere protected, eating, laughing. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord Yahweh. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. And what is basically, that captivity, getting raped, famine, dying by the sword, animals coming and attacking you, probably dragging your baby off, You got 5 children following you around and the one in the back getting ate, by a hyena or something. It says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. That's trusting in Esau Edom, right? This man is a fool, right? He has no knowledge, no more wisdom, But he's trying to act like he has it all together. He doesn't. He's moving with great wrath and speed. His enemies are surrounding him, But whoso hearkens unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. See, so that's us to hope for that, the ones that's seeking to the Lord, that's watching the prophets of the Lord, getting the understanding. So in the last days, we'll have that wisdom to know what's happening. So going back to what's happening here with this. So that was something, Elder Pastor Hart says there's lessons and lessons, and there's your lesson right there, to basically get right, because the warning has gone out. Now we're going to Ezekiel 38 regarding Russia and Iran. So here it says, will Russia help Iran if U.S. attacks? And basically he says no, but this was 3 weeks ago and now in the news today, because these talks are recent. Even now it says negotiations in Rome after 4 hours of discussion. And then it says something's going to say Iran, U.S. to hold 3rd round of nuclear talks in Oman. So I guess that was today or whatever the case may be. It just ended. We'll see what happens, So this was 3 weeks ago. They were saying no, but here we are according to prophecy, and the prophecy basically is saying yes.
But that doesn't seem to deter the modern president. See.
Well, there's a lot of evidence of deployments in the direction of the Persian Gulf. There are the threats that have been made by our president and others. In a way, the attacks on the Houthis seem designed to be a warning to Iran that we might join Israel in attacking it. And of course, the reality is that the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Netanyahu, has had for decades a major effort to enlist us in a war on Iran that would.
So he said that, I believe he just said that they will join Israel. Let me go back a little bit.
And attacking it. And of course, there are deployments in the direction of the Persian Gulf. There are the threats that have been made by our president and others. In a way, the attacks on the Houthis seem designed to be a warning to Iran that we might join Israel in attacking it.
Right. Yeah. The least of the flock shall draw them out. Let me grab that. So all prophecy is coming together. Trump can't escape that. They talk about Trump told Benjamin Netanyahu that, no, we're not going to do that. It was all theatrics, right? It's a show. They're going to, according to prophecy, they're going to join together. And actually, Israel is going to drag Babylon the Great to this war, no matter what. Right? This Jeremiah 50:45, it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh they have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, surely shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? This is prophecy. This least of the flock is going to the 1948ers, Israel. So Israel, according to prophecy, will drag out Babylon the Great to war, which is to World War III. And what's happening in the news? Open your eyes and look and see. And then listen to the prophets. If you need to go out there and look and see everything that the prophets are saying according to the scriptures, the word of Yahweh Bashim Shah is coming to pass. We're in that time, right?
And of course, the reality is that the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Netanyahu, has had for decades a major effort to enlist us in a war on Iran that would consolidate Israeli supremacy in West Asia. So if I were Iranian, I would take the prospect of an attack by the United States very seriously. And apparently they are taking it seriously. And they are redoubling their relationship with the Russians in particular in support of their defense.
Doubling their relations with Russia is all according to prophecy.
What do you think the Kremlin will do if American B-52s show up over Tehran?
Well, I don't think there's no alliance per se between Moscow and Tehran. So I think the Russian response would be quite cautious. The Russians are very much focused at the moment on Ukraine and European security, less so on West Asia, as they showed when they were willing to abandon their protege Bashar al-Assad in Syria. So I think the response would be material support rather than a direct response against the United States. But I have to say that such an attack would really do incredible damage to.
So I mean, according to prophecy, that's not the case, but it's just how they bring it up. Some certain things might bother you, whatever the case may be. But anyway, he said he doesn't believe it. Will Russia help Iran if the U.S. attacks? The answer is yes. Russia will help because it's according to prophecy. That's found in the book of Ezekiel 38. Now I'll grab it. Ezekiel 38 and 1. It says, and maybe I'll grab the NLT. Let's see. It says, this is another message that came to me from the Lord Yahweh, son of man, turn and face Gog, the land of Magog, the prince who rules over the nations of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So this is Russia. Gog, the land of Magog, is Russia, and he's a prince that rules over the nations of Meshach and Tubal, which is Turkey. And it goes on to list other nations. It says, give him this message from the sovereign Lord Yahweh, Gog, I am your enemy. So Russia, Yahweh is your enemy also, right? And the Russians are Edomites, right? It says, I will turn you around and put hook into your jaws to lead you out with your whole army, your horses and chariots, and full armor and great horde, and a great horde armed with shields and swords. So the Most High Yahweh is going to basically force Russia to do his bidding, and lead Russia to war. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya will join you too with all their weapons. So Persia goes into Iran. That's what's happening right now. And what I want to say is that America tried to talk with Iran regarding their nuclear program, which is they want them to denuclearize. Iran said, okay, we're going to have a talk or whatever. Whoever said that we're going to have talks, but they're going to have indirect talks. And they said the person that's going to be there is Russia. That's what Iran did. So now America is in talks about Iran, but they have to go through their prince, which is Russia. So that's according to prophecy. So they're being joined together. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya will join you too with all their weapons. Gomer and all its armies will also join you, along with the armies of Beth Togarmah from the distant north and many others. So see, Russia is amassing a great host of allies in these last days. Even some of America's so-called allies are now joining Russia. It says, get ready and be prepared. Keep all the armies around you, mobilize and take command of them. Right, so let me grab some precepts on this. Grab Jeremiah 51. Or matter of fact, I'm already here. This is Jeremiah 50 and 9. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. So these arrows are talking about the nuclear missiles that will ultimately destroy America. And even Persia, which is Iran, showed you one of their many underground bunkers full to the brim of missiles, arrows, right? And we know who their enemies are because they have two flags on the ground in those bunkers containing all these arrows, missiles. And the two flags are America and Israel. And that's pursuant to what? You got it, prophecy. So here we are. So this is Jeremiah 51 and 11. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. The king of the Medes is Russia. It says, for his device is against Babylon. Babylon is America. To destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. See? It says, verse 27. Jeremiah 51 and 24, it says, and I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, said the Lord Yahweh. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, said the Lord Yahweh, which destroyed all the earth, and I will stretch out mine hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Why is it going to be burnt? Because these arrows are going to be what? Nuclear missiles. It says, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundation, but thou shalt be desolate forever, said the Lord Yahweh. It says, set up a standard, and the land blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ariat, Minia, and Ashkenaz, right? Which I can grab this real quick. This is going into Armenia, Germany, right? Let me grab this. One more. Yeah, in Turkey, right? Now that Turkey is Meshach and Tubal, right? So Turkey is going to be joined, Germany is going to be joined, Armenia is going to be joined, and the king of Medes, of course, being Russia, will be the prince of these nations. So 27 again, says, set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ariat, Minia, and Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up at the rough caterpillars. It says, prepare against her the nations with the king of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. It says, and the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. See? So it's going to come to pass, and we're watching it happen right now. So going back over here to Ezekiel 38. And 6, it says, Gomer and all its armies will also join you, along with the armies of Beth Togarmah from the distant north, and many others. It says, get ready, be prepared, keep all the armies around you mobilized, and take command of them. So, this is what's happening. It says, verse 8, a long time from now, you'll be called into action. So now we're in that time. It says, in the distant future, you will swoop down on the land of Israel, which will be enjoying peace after recovering from war, and after its people have returned from many lands to the mountains of Israel. So Russia is going to come against Israel right here in these last days. Let me see if I can grab some stuff on here. All right. Just looking at these precepts, pretty much I went into them, explained them. So verse 9, it says, you and all your allies, a vast and awesome army, will roll down on them like a storm and cover the land like a cloud. This is what the sovereign Lord Yahweh says. At that time, evil thoughts will come to your mind, and you will devise a wicked scheme. You will say, Israel is an unprotected land filled with unwalled villages. I will march against her and destroy these people who live in such confidence. In the KJV, it says this. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. And that's because for the most part, Israel, even in America, are unprotected defensively, because they thought they would never be touched. And Israel has an Iron Dome situation where they're able to stop certain missiles, but Russia has, supersonic missiles that, bypass all of those things. So in Russia's eyes right now, pretty much they can destroy anyone, because they have the top missile of the world right now that can bypass any type of defense capabilities. This is Jeremiah 49:31. Jeremiah 49:31. It says, "Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith the Lord Yahweh, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone." It says, "And their camels shall be a booty, and the multitude of their cattle a spoil, and I will scatter into all winds them that are in the utmost corners. And I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh." So Babylon the Great will be attacked from all sides, utterly destroyed by these different nations. Even Zelensky said America is surrounded by ocean, so they don't feel anything, but soon they will feel it. So anyway, pretty much it. So let's get this video. That's pretty much it. Basically, what prophecy is being performed. The nations are joining themselves. So you got this 3-minute clip. You can watch it.
Finally, we discussed the nuclear issue in detail. We talked about the ongoing negotiations between Iran and the United States. I informed Mr. Lavrov about their progress and the issues being discussed in these negotiations. We noted the important and useful role of Russia in reaching agreements on the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, in the past. We hope and expect that.
All right, so this is, of course, the Iran minister, whatever, and he's joined with the Russian minister, and they're talking, and he's saying that we depend on Russia, and Russia's like, depending on us, we're gonna help them, whatnot.
Russia will continue to assist and play its role in any future agreements. Mr. Lavrov assured us that the work will continue. On our part, we will definitely keep our Russian and Chinese colleagues informed about developments in this area. As for doubts about the sincerity of the Americans' intentions, we are skeptical of this.
Notice they said Chinese too, because obviously China is going to be joining with them. You have trade wars happening right now because they're enemies, right?
Sincerity. Tomorrow, we will participate in negotiations with full confidence and determination to find solutions for the Iranian peaceful nuclear program. Unrealistic demands will only reduce the chances of reaching an agreement. Tomorrow, indirect negotiations between Iran and the U.S. will take place. There's one question. I would like both ministers to respond. We have observed contradictory signals from the U.S. How do you think, esteemed ministers, are the Americans truly set on reaching an agreement? My colleague has already answered this question, so I will pass the microphone to him. Yes, I already mentioned it. To repeat, the positions presented at the negotiating table show that we hope to hear the American position tomorrow. If they indeed demonstrate the seriousness of their intentions and refrain from making unrealistic demands, then, in my opinion, an agreement is quite possible. Now, a question for Mr. Sergei Viktorovich. Earlier, U.S. media reported that Donald Trump asked the Russian president to act as a mediator in negotiations with Iran. Is this option being discussed now? And what format of the so-called deal is seen as most acceptable for Russia in terms of regional security? I already mentioned that we are ready to help mediate in any role that Iran sees as useful and that is acceptable to the United States. We believe that the only option for an agreement, as Mr. Minister just said, is one exclusively concerning nuclear issues. And I will specifically note that the Islamic Republic of Iran is fully ready.
I think he said that Donald Trump asked this, but I heard that the Iranians told them that they will do that. So people are saying different things. But prophecy tells us what it tells us, and that's that they will be joined together in these last days to come against Babylon, which is America.
To seek an agreement within the framework of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. This is a principal point that those try to load negotiations with issues unrelated to nuclear matters must consider, as it creates a very risky situation.
Right, so that's just there. That's just letting you see. Let's check this out. It's at 1:41.
All right, so let's start this broadcast with some breaking news that's just come in, where the United States and Iran nuclear talks have concluded in Rome. Now, Iran has said that the next round of talks with the United States will be held again next Saturday and again in Oman. The second round of nuclear talks between Iran and the United States ended in Rome after 4 hours of discussions. Iran said that the nuclear negotiations.
All right, perfect. So they did 2 talks already. I guess they want to do a 3rd round of talks.
Between Iran and the United States have been held in a very constructive atmosphere. The mediated talks between the Iranian and the US delegations began at about 9:30 GMT in the Italian capital, a week after the first round was held in Oman. And Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Ismail Baqai said in a post on X, and I quote him here, The two sides have agreed to resume the indirect talks at a technical level over the next few days and subsequently continue at the level of the two senior negotiators next Saturday.
حفظ داشته‌های فنی و
Iran keeping its technical and nuclear belongings is a must in this process. Meanwhile, we have said we are ready to cooperate in resolving any doubts or questions.
که در مورد ماهیت برنامه صلح‌آمیز هسته ایران وجود داره آماده همکاری هستیم. حتما باید تحریم‌های
Definitely. Illegal sanctions against Iran must be lifted in a firm and verifiable manner, with guarantees to ensure their implementation.
Now grab this. We're just in that time. Esau has lost his power, right? It's in the NLT. Grab it. Habakkuk 2:1. It says, I will climb up to my watchtower and stand at my guard post. There will I wait to see what the Lord Yahweh says and how he will answer my complaint. It says, Then the Lord Yahweh said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the correct message to others, right? We're the runners, don't collect the prophets of the Lord, right? And we're sending that 100% true, correct message to the people, right? And that's the men of GMS, starting with Elder Pastor Har on down. It says the vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. It says, look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Right? That's why the scriptures say, let not the iniquity of them trouble thee, right? And, and just what's going on in the world, even sometimes, the saying is that even if it looked like Esau is winning, he just got it all under control. What do we do? We trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai. And of course, Esau has no control. The Most High controls everything, Don't let Esau persuade you in believing that, he has everything under control. He does not. Habakkuk 2:4 says, look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to Yahweh. It says, wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. Right? And this is Esau Edom, right? The scriptures say, miserable are they, roughly paraphrasing, miserable are the cities that had part in, destroying us, basically. So all these devils are miserable. Even the scriptures say when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. No one is happy here, right? It's all fake, and they got little escapes, like bars and stuff. Now the bars ceilings are falling apart. People can drink or go to nightclubs. Now the nightclubs and things are getting shot up. So it's all hell. It says wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many people. But soon their captors will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you thieves? Now you will get what you deserve. You become rich by extortation. But how much longer can this go on? Right? And this is talking about the nations that Esau Edom has gathered up and swallowed up, with his different laws and policy, have these nations join unto him. The world is tied to Babylon the Great. And now Babylon the Great is falling, the dollar is collapsing, and the world is spinning out of control, right? In that drain down towards the bottom. It says, suddenly your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and take all you have while you stand trembling and helpless. So these nations that America is now trying to, get a grip on is turning against them, because really and truly it is only the hub, which is America. America is the force of the Edomite nation, right? And that is falling, and these nations are, coming against it. It says, surely your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and take all you have while you stand trembling and helpless. It says, because you have plundered many nations, now all the survivors will plunder you. You committed murder throughout the countryside and filled the towns with violence. It says, what sorrow awaits you who build big houses with money gained dishonestly? You believe your wealth will buy security, putting your family's nest beyond the reach of danger, right? And that's what they believe. It says, but by the murders you committed, you have shamed your name and forfeited your lives. The very stones in the walls cry out against you, and beams in the ceilings echo the complaint. What sorrow awaits you who build cities with money gained through murder and corruption? And the scriptures say, woe to the bloody city, right? Which is Babylon the Great, America, which will be destroyed. Lord willing, you're edified from the lesson. I'll say shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.